Hey everyone, welcome. So if you're gearing up for a huge exam like the UGC NET JRF, you know that feeling? The pressure is on and you've got stacks of books and you're putting in the long hours. But what if there was a smarter way to do all this? What if you could use science to guide your study habits? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into. Okay, I want to start with this question right here. Are you studying hard or are you studying smart? It's a simple question, but it gets right to the heart of everything, doesn't it? We all study hard and we put in the time. But how can we be absolutely sure our methods are actually effective? How do we know we're moving closer to that goal? And right there, that's the key difference. See, most quizzes and practice tests, they can tell you if you remember a specific fact, but they can't tell you why you keep forgetting another one, or why you get anxious during a test, or how your brain is actually wired to learn. So, to really get ahead, you've got to look deeper into the engine of your learning. So, we're going to look at a tool that does exactly that. It goes way beyond just simple quizzes and gives you a real scientific look at how ready you are for the JRF. Now, this is not just another practice test. I want you to think of this more like a doctor's checkup, but for your study habits. It's a scientific instrument, and it's designed to map out everything from your unique cognitive profile to your strengths and your hidden weaknesses and your whole approach to learning. And what's really cool is that this isn't just guesswork. It's all built on proven scientific theories about how we learn. For instance, it uses something called Bloom's taxonomy to see if you can not just remember a fact, but actually analyze and evaluate ideas. And it also uses cognitive load theory, which helps figure out how much new info your brain can realistically handle at one time. So, yeah, this is grounded in some serious science. So, how does this checkup actually work? Well, it uses a really thorough 5-point diagnostic that gives you a complete 360-degree view of yourself as a student. And here's the game plan for the rest of this explainer. We're going to walk through each of these 5 areas together. We'll start with what you know, then we'll get into how you think, how you perform on tests, how you check your own progress, and finally, how you handle all the pressure. So let's jump right into the first one. First things first, we've got to get a baseline. And this isn't just about ticking boxes on topics you've covered. It's about figuring out how deeply you really get it and how all those ideas connect in your mind. So module 1 is called Content Mastery, and it goes way beyond a simple checklist. It's all about looking at the quality and the organization of your knowledge. Are all the facts you've learned just floating around like little islands, or are they connected into a solid continent of understanding? Because that's what we want to find out. And here's how we measure that. We look at your domain specificity, which is basically how well you know your specific subject. Then there's content granularity. That's about how deep you go into the details. And finally, interdisciplinary connection, which is your ability to see the bigger picture and connect ideas across different topics. Okay, so once we've mapped out what, the diagnostic shifts gears in a big way, now it's time to look under the hood and see how your brain's operating system is actually running, because the next few modules are all about analyzing your thinking process. Module 2 is all about cognitive processing. This is where we get into the nuts and bolts of how you learn. How well are you actually absorbing new information? How good is your brain at holding onto it? And can you actually focus when it really counts? So this part measures a few key things. It looks at how you encode information. That's the process of turning what you're reading into an actual memory. It checks your retention, basically, how long that memory sticks around. And of course, it assesses your attention and ability to stay focused. These are the absolute core skills for studying effectively. All right, moving on to module 3, testing and application. Because let's be honest, it's one thing to know the material when you're relaxed in your study space, but it's a whole different ballgame to use that knowledge when the clock is ticking in an exam hall. So this module measures that exact skill. It actually measures how well you can analyze your own performance. how you apply logic when you see a problem you've never seen before, and even something as subtle as how you perceive time passing during the exam itself, which is super important stuff. Now this next part, this is where things get really, really powerful. Module 4 is metacognition. It's literally the science of thinking about your thinking. It's your ability to step back and look at your own learning process and figure out what's working and what's not. And this is the secret to becoming a truly independent learner. And we measure some fascinating things here, like Dunning-Kruger calibration. You might have heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's that weird human tendency where sometimes the less we know, the more we think we know. And this tool helps you get an accurate picture so you truly know what you don't know. It also looks at how good you are at managing your own schedule and all your study resources. And finally, we get to module 5, psychometric factors. You know, exams aren't just a test of your knowledge, they're an emotional and psychological marathon too. Your mindset can make or break your performance on the day. So this part measures things like your level of test anxiety and your self-efficacy, which is just a fancy way of saying how much you believe in your own ability to succeed. It also measures grit, which is your passion and your ability to stick with it for the long haul. And finally, your cognitive load capacity, your ability to handle a lot of complex info without getting totally overwhelmed. So you go through all 5 of these modules, and then what? What's the payoff? Well, this is where all that data comes together into a clear, actionable, and deeply personal report called your roadmap. Your report gives you 3 incredibly valuable things. First, you get a realistic data-driven estimate of your prep timeline. In second, and this is huge, it pinpoints your number 1 biggest obstacle, what we call your primary blocker. And third, it gives you a scientific prescription, which is a specific targeted action plan designed to fix that exact blocker. When you see it like this, it really hits home. On one side, you've got guesswork, studying everything, feeling overwhelmed, and just kind of hoping for the best. And on the other side, you have a scientific prescription, which is a precise, focused plan that targets your biggest weakness to give you the biggest improvement. The choice is pretty clear, right? Why would you spend months and months studying in the dark when you could have a personalized, data-driven roadmap to show you the way? And you can start this journey like right now. The tool we've been talking about, the JRF Readiness Diagnostic, is available for free inside the Nerd School app. So go download the app, take the assessment, and get your own personal roadmap to success. Because it's time to stop guessing and start preparing with scientific precision. Your JRF is waiting for you. Before you go, make sure to hit that like button and share this video with your study group. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on these scientific study strategies. I've dropped the direct link to the JRF Readiness Diagnostic tool right down in the description box below, so go ahead and click that to start your assessment immediately. Now, here is the most important part. It is absolutely mandatory that you fill this out honestly, because if you try to game the system, you won't get accurate results. And you really need to know your true strengths and weaknesses to actually improve. Once you're done, come back here and let me know your level in the comment section, because I'd love to see where you're starting from. Thanks for watching and good luck.